Alright, and we are up. Hello. Welcome to another stream. My name is Ren Blanca, as always, and welcome back to another live stream. I'm glad to see people in the chat if you're here, and if not, people who are watching the VOD later on. Today, we're going to be playing some Necrobarista, and continuing our little tale of trying to get our undead coffee shop out of its crippling debt. Last time we left off with our main character, I forget her name, however, she was starting a gambling ring to try and get some years back on their side. However, she got shut down by the previous owner, so we're gonna have to see how we end up making money this time. We're also gonna be trying out a new stream setup, so I think it's working all good. So let's head in. I'm pretty excited. It's been a little while, about 2 weeks since we played, and I can't wait to see what we're going to be doing today. Though, I do wonder how you really... I know that they get years for your stay, but I don't know how they're gonna make all their debt back. I think they were gonna cut it down to 23 hours instead of 24 hours, but still. So I think last time we were here, we were going to unlock this. Oh, there we go. Yes. Beth 1. Let's read. Let's go, little girl. The man standing in front of Beth smirked. The knife he held seemed almost slight compared to his massive hands, but that didn't make it any less intimidating. Finish this one quick, came a call from behind the knife holder. 3 men stood behind him, wearing expressions which ranged from amused to bored. Beth felt her palm get sweaty and loosened her grip on the knife in her hand, sliding her thumb along the guard to reassure herself that its shape hadn't changed since the moment she'd picked it up. Take your friend's advice, Beth said to the man who was menacing her. Finish this quick. After all, I am just a little girl. Well, as little as any 15-year-old girl can be. Can do, said the man, and he drew his knife up for an overhead swing. The man's movement suggested that he didn't know how to use a knife. Not really. He was swinging the knife like he'd swing a fist. He was trying to bludgeon her with it. Like he'd never really used a knife before. He was stupid. Mercifully stupid. She tried to reassure herself of that fact, trying not to lose her resolve. He lunged toward her as he brought the knife down, and Beth raised her left arm. She felt the edge of the knife hit her skin, but the impact of the blow caused the man to lose his grip on the knife. An opening. Beth grabbed the attacker's knife arm and pulled him toward her, thrusting her own knife. Seni Shoshitsu. She drove the knife into the man's chest with all the force she could muster and fell to the ground and gasped as Beth released her grip on him. The man lay on the ground and put a hand to his chest, moaning, "Son of a bitch, you doing okay down there?" And the man sat up and patted his chest. I didn't expect to lose to a girl? No, said the man. Well, that too, but I didn't expect it to hurt this much. These rubber practice knives are no joke. Might have broken her rig. The man stood up. You got a name, girl? You can call me Beth, she said, extending a hand. He shook it with a look of hesitation. I'm Kyle. I've got to say, Beth, that was kind of a cheap trick. How do you mean? Said Beth. Well, the way you blocked my knife with your arm. It just bounced right off. You couldn't do that if we were using real knives. He's right. It's not really a fair fight with rubber knives. I'd like a rematch. Yeah! Rematch! 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 Yeah, there's... Oh, you know what? I didn't even mean to do that. Rematch! 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 A voice thundered from above. I thought you told the eyes to keep it down. Everyone spun around to face the stairs, leading up to the ground floor. Maddie was leaning over the railing of the staircase with a stern look on her face. She tapped a poster on the wall. Beth took a moment to glance at the sign. Fight Club rules. 1. Don't quote Tyler Durden. 2. Seriously, no Tyler Durden. 3. Always assume your opponent is mortal. Practice weapons only. 4. Be considerate to other guests. Keep noise at a reasonable level. We don't have any rules here. Please don't make me kick you out of the basement. Looking ashamed, with several mumbled apologies. Betty nodded and climbed back up the stairs, content she had made a point. Seriously though, said Kyle. It's not really a fair fight without real knives. Beth walked over to the edge of the room and lifted a rug revealing 2 steak knives. Several whispers erupted from the small crowd. Where'd you get these? Asked Kyle. I swiped them from... Oh... She in trouble. She's gonna break one of the 4 rules. Then she's already broken one of the rules. I mean, that's gotta be a record, man. These are fit to cut through flesh, whether it's cooked steak or a human arm. Beth held one of the steak knives by the blade, presenting its handle to Kyle. We've already broken one rule tonight. How about breaking another one? I won't get hurt. I mean, I can still feel the pain, but you know, I'm not afraid of getting stabbed. Neither am I, said Beth. But don't say you're ready for this if you're not ready to bleed. Pressing her thumb against the tip. Small drop of blood. Do I look like it if I'd be here if I was afraid to die? Oh. So we have another one, Wandering Spirit. That one's free. And I don't actually think we can go back upstairs. Is there anything around here? Oh, there is. Ashley's journal. We do have the required ones. I don't think we read Ashley's journal 1 though, did we? I can't remember for the life of me. Let's see. We will check out Wandering Spirit then first. That'll be a good one. Were they always so loud? Perhaps it was just a contrast with the surrounding environment, which seemed to completely silent that made his footfalls. Okay. Keyshawn's footsteps echoed in a way that startled him. Were his footsteps always so loud? Perhaps it was just the contrast with the surrounding environment, which seemed completely silent, that made his footfalls seem so jarringly loud as he walked along the catwalk. He was on a catwalk. Why was he on a catwalk? There seemed to be a gaping space below him, filled with some sort of mist he couldn't see through. It was like fog, and yet despite the fog that lapped his feet, the air felt so dry. The air was thick here. As he breathed heavily, Keyshawn felt overwhelming sweat, sickly odor, like the smell of sweat or rotting wood. But all he could see around him were steel beams and a concrete path in front of him. Was it rust he was smelling? No, he knew the smell of rust. This was different. The smell was somehow organic, like the smell of a forest after a fresh rainfall. He was surrounded by mist. Maybe he's just smelling water. Keyshawn shivered. Far in the distance, he could see what looked like a building of some sort. Far away, that made the structure he was inside feel almost tunnel-like, as if its only purpose was to convey to him, to that distant building. He continued walking forward, but as he walked, the building seemed to be growing more and more distant. He quickly quickened his pace. And as he walked faster, he could feel himself moving through the thick air, stifling air. And yet, he looked down. He could see the texture of the catwalk in front of him unchanged, as though he were walking in place. Keyshawn started to turn backward, but saw only a blinding light. His eyes immediately shut, and when he opened them, he was faced into a tunnel, with the distant building at the center of his field of view. He tried turning around, but every time he tried to turn his head, his eyes involuntarily shut at the sight of the light, and he was forced to close his eyes or look away, always confronted again with the sight of the small hut when he opened his eye. His heart pounded violently inside of his chest. The tunnel was so quiet that he could hear his own heartbeat, feel his own pulse inside of his head. Something about this place felt deeply, incredibly wrong. Get back. I have to get back. Oh, he in trouble? Hey, dude, you just gotta walk. If it's a catwalk, why doesn't he jump off of it? That'd probably get him out of there nice and quick. He tried turning it, and this time found himself unable to even begin rotating his body before his eyes snapped shut, placing him again in a world of darkness until he opened them again and was confronted with the sight of a small hut in the distance, now looking more far away than ever. I have to get back. Keyshawn kept facing the building and took a step backward. As he placed his foot on the ground, he felt a gust of wind knock him forward. He let out a yelp of terror. Instinctively, his hands reached for the opposite edges of the catwalk as he fell, trying to steady himself for fear of falling off. The catwalk was wide enough that his body didn't lay close enough to the edge without the risk. And yet, as he looked toward the edge, he felt a growing sense of dread that there was something down there that would capture him if he allowed it to catch even the smallest hold of him. Tentacle hentai time. Almost. As he thought it, he felt the sensation of something pressing against his legs. Uh-oh. No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. We don't need to read this. We don't need to read this. He stumbled to his feet. He ran forward. The hut ahead of him seemed to grow no closer as he ran, but he ran all the same, running not to reach a destination, but to be away from whatever that was behind him. Running from the, what would it be, squid? Octopus? We should fry it up. It'd be delicious. Moments ago, he only thought was an overwhelming desire to turn back, a worry that he was somehow trapped in here. But now that worry was replaced with an overwhelming sense of dread that propelled him forward. He had been pushed forward by something. Something was behind him. Keyshawn leaned forward and ran. He was no runner. He often found himself winded, when forced to climb more than one flight of stairs. Same, bro! And then he ran and felt no sense of tiredness holding him back. No need to catch his breath. We got any one flight of stairs foggers in the chat? People who can't even go up like 13 steps? I think that's the normal amount, 13. I'm pretty sure more than 13. Yeah, that's like 2 flights of stairs. Maybe it was the thick air here that somehow never allowed him to run out of breath. Maybe it was the fear of whatever was behind him was that strong. Keyshawn felt the air stinging at his eyes as he ran. By now he was running so fast that the thick air felt like a hot wind on his face. Tears began running down his face, but he couldn't find an him to raise a hand to wipe at his eyes. That would mean slowing his sprint. So he closed his eyes, fully aware that he was running down a catwalk that had no handrail on either side. At this point he didn't care. He ran and ran. Long after the tears on his face had dried, Keyshawn realized that he could hear only the sound of his own feet as they struck the catwalk. He couldn't even hear the rush of wind, as it seemed to buffet his face. There were no sounds of anyone or anything pursuing him. Perhaps there was no pursuer at all. He allowed himself to open his eyes and looked down. He looked over his shoulder. By this time, there was no blinding light, only a distant glow, like the light at the end of a long tunnel. In a way, it was the light at the end of a long tunnel, and he observing the dim glow, I'm guessing, of the distant light. Keyshawn suddenly realized just how far he had run. He turned around and saw the building right in front of him. It had windows that were covered, the same fog that covered the ground around him. Keyshawn reached for the door handle. He half expected it to be locked, and felt a moment of panic as the handle bowed under the pressure of his hand. Bowed. It's bowed. Bowed. Was he ready to face whatever was on the other side of that door? Did he even want to enter? I wouldn't. Go back to the tentacle hentai monster. Better idea, better idea. Did he have a choice? What was it that awaited him inside the building? Succubus. Answers, or more baffling questions? Kishan looked down the tunnel and suddenly felt cold. Maybe it's a cool cup of coffee, actually. This is a coffee shop. Whatever this place was, he needed to escape it. And the only form of egress that seemed available to him was the door of this building. He leaned on the handle and felt the door swing open. And would you look at that? Our door's open, baby. Sally? So we're not staff. Oh yeah, we're Keyshawn, aren't we? So that was like our dream. So what I'm wondering is, oh, there is more here. We don't have any more Melbourne points, so we can't do the billiards. Did we? I'm gonna go up here because I can't remember. Did we do Ashley 1? The knowledge escapes me. This was Keep the Balance. We read this last time we played. This is Billiards 1, which we weren't able to do. Anything else? I think there was one along here we did before. No, I can't remember where. Oh, you know what? Wasn't it here? Yeah, we did the fisherman last time. Thinking about alchemy the wrong way. We can do that one. So it might be worth it. We also have Crucible product reviews, which we can't do. Why don't we unlock that one I was just looking at? Oh, I've already forgotten. What was it? This one needs... I don't even know what that is. Sussy Among Us, man. Alright, we're gonna do Thinking About Alchemy the Wrong Way. There we go. Highlighted passages from Thinking About Alchemy the Wrong Way by Sophie Cordova. Most study of alchemy throughout history can be categorized as either practical alchemy, that is, alchemy which aims to understand the world only as well as is needed to fulfill certain utilitarian needs, and philosophical alchemy, that is, alchemy which aims to come to a more complete understanding of the world as it is, without prejudice, for which portions of the alchemical understanding can be wielded to utilitarian needs. In modern alchemy movement, there has been a tendency within literature to place a greater emphasis on philosophical alchemy, based on the premise that coming to a more complete and correct understanding of the universe is the best way for us to discover new practical methods for the physical use of alchemy. Much of this is based on the modern scientific movement in the post-Enlightenment era. Much like our understanding of theoretical physics gives us a more accurate model of physical reality, which have real applications in engineering, having a better understanding of alchemy on a philosophical level informs our practice of alchemy. However, it may be that this focus on alchemy, which places an emphasis on being correct rather than useful, has thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Admittedly, I've never heard of that before. My position here is hardly biased. The fact that practical studies of alchemy have largely been chased underground is the reason that the tome you're reading, this is not a tome, this was a board in a coffee shop, is self-published rather than distributed through more official channels. For example, underappreciated in the development of modern alchemical practices is the use of a 5-element model. Early pre-Aristotelian, Aristotelian, that word, Aristotelian, alchemical notes were based on the understanding of 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, water. I want to be a woodbender. Lastly, Aristotelian, alchemy model separated elements into 4 categories of earth, water, air, and fire. No, those are the ones that you know. Airbender! While this model may be more accurate and reflect an evolution of our understanding of alchemy, it seems to sacrifice the more practical separation of elements in a way that better allows us to understand less tangible things. While wood is not an element, strictly speaking, it helps us to think of it as such. After all, juxtaposing wood against elements such as metal and fire makes it apparent that wood possesses certain soul-like qualities that other elements lack, which might prompt us to question what it is about wood that seems to make it behave like a super element, with practical uses beyond the conventional. I mean, metal is considered an element, so I guess fire and the rest are, so why not wood? There's a great irony in the fact that while these questions eventually lead us to discard the 5-element model, the new model no longer allows for the existence in this sort of question to exist in academic literature. The book serves as my guide to asking the wrong questions to arrive at the wrong answers that nonetheless seem to work. It is a book for troublemakers and rule breakers. Indeed. The fact that you hold this book, it's not a book, it's a poster in a coffee shop, in your hands right now, is probably the evidence that you've broken several rules to acquire it. I paid like a couple dollars for a coffee. That, or you are a rule enforcer tasked with destroying my work, or who for some reason has decided to take the time to read it. Perhaps you are reading my work in search of identifying information which might lead you to my location, or you are reading to gain a better understanding of someone whom you consider to be an enemy. Perhaps after reading my work, you will realize that my ideas are not so dangerous as you've been to believe. Or perhaps you will realize that they are exactly as dangerous as you've been told. What a pompous little prick, man. We weren't able to do judgment. So I think the last one we're gonna do before we continue with the main narrative is we need to go downstairs and over here. Yes, Ashley Journal 2. I don't know if we did the first one last time, but we have the second one. So let's see the robot ranking. Battle Royale, Robot Power Rankings, Alpha Charlie Echo. All the commentators call this Robot Ace. Probably because it's so good, or because it spells out Ace. It seems biased for them to call one particular robot Ace, but it's obvious how it got the name when it wins all the time. At first, it looks like this robot doesn't have a weapon, and it's just designed to be really fast and agile. But then you realize its entire body is a weapon, ramming into unsuspecting people. That would be a great tactic if you got into a fight and you didn't have a weapon. That's true, just headbutt people. I like this person's ideas. You don't need a flamethrower or a buzzsaw if you just have a 150 kilogram body and can ram into people really, really fast. You know, that's how a lot of people win robot battles, like real steel and bot battle. This probably wouldn't work very well for me because I don't weigh 150 kilograms and I'm pretty small. That isn't a problem since I usually carry things that can be used as weapons. Like I carry a crowbar, and if someone tried to attack me, I could take the L end and jam the crowbar under their feet and pull it out and use it to knock them off balance, even though I'm probably smaller than most people. I'm not sure why it's named Alpha Charlie Echo. I assumed it was a remake or made in the style of a bot called Alpha Charlie. But there aren't any robots by that name, and the team that made it are all rookies. Also, none of them were named Charlie. Maybe it's named after someone's dad or brother. Their next robot will probably be called Beta Charlie Echo, or maybe Alpha V2 Charlie Echo, or Final_Final 2 Charlie Echo. I like all these name ideas. We're gonna make sure to use them in the future. Alright, let's head back up to the terminal. And, I think that's all the stories we can do for now. So, it is time to continue. I don't remember the voices I did for the characters, so I'm just gonna... They're all Australian, aren't they? I don't know how to do Australian. It's probably gonna be British, I'm sorry. Oh, you look depressed. Oh, he is depressed. Day 2, 5 p.m. Outside the terminal. You right? Yeah, I guess. Cool. Mind if I join you? Go for it. Aw. Dairy? You want a dairy? Sorry, dairy. Coffin there. Cigarette. You want a smoke or not? Oh, right, of course, yeah, sure. Sorry, it's been a weird day. I've never heard of the term dairy before. Maybe I'm just uncultured? I didn't know that was a thing. Thanks. No worries. Where are you from then? Heh. You're the first to ask. I live in Collingwood. Oh yeah. Whereabouts? Smith Street. Bit pricey up there these days, isn't it? Bet you like your Avo toast. Ah. Piss off. I've got housemates. Well. Nah, I know what you mean. Bit odd. Being dead and all that. Takes some getting used to. People say that, but it doesn't make me feel any better. I understand. Do you? I reckon as much as anyone can, yeah. Right. Hey, what's apple toast actually taste like? Huh. Never had it. Can't you just go out and eat some? I'm sure Maddie can whip it up if you ask. There is toast, and there's avo toast for double the price. Avocados are highly malevolent fruit. Don't trust them one bit, mate. Plus, I've got this whole situation. Oh, that's what the straw was for. You got it. So what does it taste like? Dunno, like avocado and toasted bread. Avocado is kind of cold and mushy, but it's got a good taste. I agree. Yeah, definitely better than mushy peas. Have me a bowl of peas, mate. What? That's good. They're the only thing you can eat through a straw. Watch yourself. Gonna zap me with your death council powers. First off, it's the council of death, not a death council. Ah, very important distinction. They're totally different things. Secondly, you think that's really what we do? Walk around shooting lightning out of our fingers? Well, you put it like that. Sounds a bit silly, yeah. We don't do anything like that. We just keep things running smoothly, that's all. Harassing coffee owners to settle their time debt isn't something we like to do often. So you just keep the peace. As fucking ironic as that sounds, yeah. Ned keeps the peace. Dude, I know. Wanna know? Sure. Ah, they're so cute. Oh. Oh, look at her. That dot. I love the sunrise here. Now, Leroy, you watch many sunrises, Ned? Not really, no. Not even semi-immortals need their sleep. And just like to sit here and watch it. Even when it's cloudy or rainy. There's just something about watching the sunrise that makes it easier to deal with the coming day. Feeling optimistic all of a sudden. No, I still feel like shit. Huh. How about you, Keyshawn? Keyshawn's about to be depressed. He's gonna die. Keyshawn? Oh no, I don't feel so good. I'm having a lot of trouble, you guys, I'm dead, and I'm only got a couple hours left before I have to go, and I don't think anyone here properly understands what it's like to see your last sunrise ever without any idea what comes next, and it's really fucking terrifying. I'm never gonna see my friends or my boyfriend or my family ever again. I'm just gonna pass and they'll never know what they remember me or mourn me, or if I'm never gonna remembered as a good dude who tried his best and never forgotten in a year. But that was a good dude who tried his best and couldn't even friggin' game finger fillet in the basement of a cafe that basically sits on the banks of the sticks, as far as I can tell, and God, I didn't even tell if it matters. Were the stakes low, high? I can't tell. I'm so disoriented and trying so desperately to feel something, but all I feel is that I'm slipping away with every second. I'm losing myself by degrees, and that's incredibly scary, and I don't know how to deal with it. Mood. Yeah, back on. I actually came out to apologize for that. The game. Can it, Ned? Keyshawn? Shouldn't have taken that time from you. Took it fair and square. I don't feel like I did, so I'm giving it back. And believe me, I'm as surprised as you are. I don't usually do this. What's different this time? It's my business. I can't believe you're still swindling people out of arrows trying to fix your dad. Dude, I know. It's bloody and dignified. And it's a clear violation of the rules. I'll banish you right now, my man. I thought we stopped pulling that crap once you took ownership of the cafe from Che. Do you really think doing this is gonna help pay this debt? Yes, absolutely. And if you got any bright ideas on how to do it otherwise, I'm all yours. We should have never granted you and Che those licenses to practice. You've obviously failed to be responsible with them. You really think we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't have the licenses, Bushman? Given your history, the hypocrisy on display here is astounding. That's all behind me, and you know it. And walking on doing some good for the last 100 years. Council? Really? Yes, we maintain the balance, that's why it's important. Sure do, and I don't need you moralizing at me from your ivory tower. Oh. They're having a heated debate right now. Give it a rest, guys. But I'm pulling the last down Earth card. Quit it. She's just like, ah, shit. He's right, though. I'll be inside. Come find me when you want those hours back, Keyshawn. What it's worth. I'm sorry about this. I've never been to the other side. I was too afraid to leave. Walked the lands for decades, evading the council. That's kindly called revenancy. Staying for too long, upsetting the balance. and they have put me straight to the next place, or some sort of a ton of punishment. Council offered me a job. It's all there. That's all stuff you don't care about, I suppose. It's interesting enough. I'm just finding it in the air. You should head back inside and grab those hours back. Truth be told, I'm not feeling especially fond of Maddie right now. She might have been honest with you, but even I can tell she's at the end of her rope. You might. Oh, I skipped. No! You think so? I wouldn't have offered those hours back if there wasn't something different about you. Plus, that kid Ashley seems to like you, yeah. I guess. She's kind of dragged me off and it got me to hold her screwdrivers for her. Trust me, she thinks you're great. Go on, go inside and say hi. Got some business to go stick my nose into anyway. Alright. Catch you in a bit. I got some questions about the council. Ooh. Of course. I won't be out for long. Later, mate. Aw, I like their relationship. Hey. Yo. You want those hours back? Okay, so. It's only 4 hours. Oh shit. It's okay. I prove that you have them. Ashley's been enjoying having you around. Just Ashley. And me too, I guess. You seem pretty reluctant to admit that, my dude. Don't psychoanalyze me. Yeah, don't psychoanalyze me either. Sit still for a minute. Alright, lay your hand on mine and place your index finger on my wrist. Is this part of your ritual, or are you just excused to hold hands? Shut up. Thanks. Watch carefully, and no matter what you do, don't move your hand. There's usually a binding spell I use to make sure that doesn't happen, but I've run out of reagents required, and probably don't care about that. True. Alrighty. Oh. Now I give this time freely and without coercion. As above, so below, I maintain the balance. I maintain the balance. That's it. How do you feel? I actually feel better. I feel less itchy. You weren't kidding about that yesterday. As you linger, you begin to upset the balance. And as I understand, it doesn't feel good. Right, yeah. Why does Ned get to stick around then? Does he just ignore it? Council are a special case. They're more similar to demigods or demons than they are to us. That's fascinating. Tell me about it. I'd have joined ages ago, but they're uptight dicks. They don't seem so bad to me. That's because you've not run into any of their ridiculous rules. Bunch of bloody regulations and manipulating life force and certain standards on the treatment of spirits. Is that why you gave me the hours back? Because Ned realized you broke the rules. No, that was all within the guidelines, despite his blustering. I gave them back because I felt that. That's all. Oh, neat, so you pity me. I love that. I'm actually really into it. No, dude, it's not like that at all. Nah, you don't need to clarify. I get it. Seriously, last day on Earth. Moving on. Fine, sure, I'm sorry. Damn. Customer time. Sorry, I'm trying to serve this other customer. I'll help. Really? It's probably not a pre-person job. Yep. Come on. Man, he wants to do a lot for his last day on Earth. I just want to chill out the whole day until I pass. Though the itchy part sounds really annoying, so I don't actually know about that one. Sound like it'd be a huge bother to me. Do it, 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 do it. Elevator music, do do do. Elevator music, do do do. Elevator music, do do do. Elevator music, do 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 do. I thought that would work. We're still sitting here. Well, this has been fun though. I like the story they're crafting. I wonder what's gonna happen though near the end of when this guy's running out of time. I mean, from what they showed, he was already getting a bit itchy, and that he only got 4 hours back, so we're just gonna have to see how long he lasts. Maybe he'll turn into a revenant and start running around the place like Ned did back in the day. I also wonder how long Maddie's been around. I know that she's mortal, I think. So, like, does she just get to stay there? Does she age? Lots and lots of questions, honestly. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Oh, there we go. Alright. Well, day 2, 6 p.m. The terminal. Whew. Anything else that needs doing? Nah, I'm just gonna take this tray of glasses into the kitchen. You can go chill out for a bit. I'll take them. You need a break. Sure. Where's the kitchen? That way. You'll find it eventually. Cool. Back in a minute. And there it goes. Oh. Chess. Your pawns are nothing compared to the raw power in my castles. Nothing! Yeah? What's this then? Oh. Ah! My castle! Brought low by my own hubris. Nah, it was just a pawn. Maybe a little bit of hubris. Bishop! Knights! Ah! Your other castle and check. Check, you say? Oh, I didn't think of that. You activated my check card! Hey Mike, come check this out. I tricked him into a false sense of security. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Seriously let her outmaneuver you that hard? Yes, I'm very ashamed. I suppose the real hubris was inside me all along. I love winning. I should try doing this more often. A chance win at chess. I could go into a big winning streak, you know? You wanna play something with us? Oh boy, here we go. I should really head back down to the bar. There's nobody there. Come on, take a load off. If anyone really needs you, they'll know where to find you. How about I grab us all a drink? And make sure there's nobody waiting down there. Let me play something. It'll be 5 minutes. You're actually gonna come back this time? Never come back. I'll come back. Promise. Why don't you pick out a game while I'm gone? Let's find something, Ashley. What do you feel like playing today? Something with lots of dice. Dice it is. We'll see you in a minute, Maddie. Uh-oh. Day 2, 6:15 p.m. Ashley's workshop. Oh, and she did come back. They're playing like D&D or something. That's why the 4th season of Robo Battle Royale was an absolute betrayal. Will you still want to be on it one day? Well, yeah. I want to be on a cool robot battling game too, so I mean, you know, fair. Unless an indie circuit opens up. Like in wrestling? Exactly like in wrestling. Melbourne's got a local show. I want something like that. You could probably put up your own local league together if you worked really hard. Perhaps you could build the robots and get people to battle them? Human controlled robots are boring though. I want to get more of that spirit juice and put together a bigger Ashling. How big? I think I'll start at car size, and then move to more of a bus adjacent form factor. I'm not sure we have enough to power one of those. You'd have to get Maddie to source you a large amount of it. We need liters of it, at least. That'd be super cool. Didn't you say it was illegal? Oh no. Well, technically. But what Dead doesn't know won't hurt him. He'd lose his head if he knew how the things we were doing around here. I don't know, he seems very lenient with you, right? He wasn't always like that. Long before you turned up, he nearly shut me down because Would you believe it's because I sheltered a criminal? And I nearly shut you down because of that? And I don't think you're the same criminal you are? Wait, who? Oh boy, I wonder if this is a person of suspicious interest. Trust me, the irony was apparent. Found it very, very funny. What sort of criminal were they? Just a minor demon on the run. I don't know what she did to get the price on her head. I just took her in while she stumbled through the door, dripping blood everywhere. That's metal! She was extremely metal. How long did you manage to hide her for? Not too long. Maybe 6 weeks. Time flew by, if I'm being honest. What is that? Was she from the clock realm? No, nothing like that. Well, bonded. Magically? How'd you do that? I thought I heard you telling Maddie that sort of thing is impossible between beings on this plane. Oh, Maddie's like, ha! What a nerd! No, not magically. We were, lovers. Ew. Yuck. Ew. Happier days. I love hearing about when you were young and reckless. Gosh, what do you think I am now, huh? Old and boring? Definitely old. Despite myself, I was saying you're definitely not boring. Ooh, at least she's nice. There's the passions and Maddie charm. Well, you know me. I'm full of them. Oh yeah. Charms, hexes, curses. That's all on your account, old man. I won't deny it. Hey, Maddie. Well, hey, dude. You have trouble finding the kitchen? Yeah, I couldn't. I checked everywhere. It's just behind the bar, man. You can't miss it. No, you're not catching my drift. It's just behind the bar. Sometimes you gotta remind the quantum hallways that they exist. Fine. How long are you gonna keep him here, Maddie? Whoa, we're keeping him? We're gonna name him Doggo. I'm going to let him stay as long as he wants. He'll leave on his own accord at some point. You feel sorry for him? Weirdly? Yes. I usually get attached to customers. He's a good dude. I like him. Hey, do you like him because it's nice? Or because he was good at passing your tools up? Yes. Don't get too attached. He's not gonna be here forever. Well, duh. I know how it works. I'm gonna enjoy having him around, just like you taught me. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Actually, that's from the motivational calendar I threw out last week. I never said that. Same thing. I'm used to people moving on, is the point. I can deal with it. Good. 6:30, day 2, the terminal. 15 minutes later. I think that's 15 minutes? Yeah, it's close enough. Heh. What? I don't know what was up with her. Gonna keep coughing, staring at the coffee stain or not? Yes. Okay, whatever. What do you want from this conversation? I'm an open book. As far as matters of life and death are concerned. Yeah. Wanna go? Well, that's too bad, man. Like, what are you gonna do about it? I know you probably heard this from like, I don't know, 1,000 people or whatever. No shit, dumbass. It's not about staying around with people or wanting to go back to my old life. As wonderful and not stressful as that sounds. I'm not afraid of what lies on the other side. I don't think there's any point to worrying about it until I'm there. Just don't think I've spent enough time here. The cafe? No. All this, I guess you'd call it this plane. Roughly speaking, I suppose so. I want to know what you did to be able to stay. Sure. Did Maddie give you those hours back? Yeah, why? Well, that's a way. You can just find enough hours to stay as a spirit. Half here, half gone. But it's a wretched existence. I wouldn't want to live like that. How did you find the hours, though? There's only so many you can give from consenting beings, right? The crappy psychology of gambling aside, you're right, yes. Question is, how do you do that? How do you create life from nothing? Answer is that you can't, Kishon. It's impossible. There's always got to be some sort of balance maintained. Everyone who learns to manipulate the fundamental forces, life forces, understands that no matter what they're doing, my accent's slipping. I can't do it. No matter what they're doing, good or bad, with our skills. Here's the thing though. You don't need both parties to agree. It's gone. It's gone. We're British. It's just society. Something that separates us from people who don't do that. That's where the idea of vampires came from, for example. They're not special or anything, they're just dickheads. Anyway, if you can take life force from people, you can also drain it from animals or plants. But in this business, there's a lot we don't or can't understand. One of the things we can't understand is why life force from animals and plants is tainted. It feels gross. Didn't everyone want to take it? Consequences be damned. Ooh. How are you feeling today before Maddie took the hours back? I felt like I was slipping away. Like my mind was really foggy. It was really hard to think or put sentences together. Nobody really noticed. Typical. Imagine that, but 10 times worse. You're foggy, but there's also something fundamentally wrong. Like your collection of puzzle pieces that doesn't quite fit together. Like an engine that's running out of oil. That sounds horrifying, right? So, should I do it? Probably not. How should I say otherwise? I can always go to the land, just run forward, but you'd catch me. Not me, personally, but yes, the council would eventually. That's it. That's my only option. Perhaps. Depends on how you feel about bonding your soul eternally to a fundamentally neutral arbiter of existence, of justice. I've got no strong feelings about it, one way or another. It's my arse. Huh? Would you regret it if you stayed here forever instead of moving on? Dunno. Guess that'd be up to me, right? How do you mean? In the end, how I feel about taking a big branch in my life is a matter of how I frame it. Focus on what I'll regret, sure, it's an useful way to spend my time. If I focus on the future, everything that's possible in space, instead of outside it, it's probably better for me, yeah. Sure. You don't sound convinced. I'm just ambivalent on it. I try not to think about anything too hard these days. Well, if you're willing to accept eternal bondage with the council, I can help you here. It's not easy work, though. You have to act in the best interest of the system, not its individual parts. Bureaucracy at its finest. How did you learn to deal with it? Just took some time. When you're used to it, you learn not to think too hard about what you're doing. As long as you take a holistic view of everything, things generally shake out alright. We tend to only bother the biggest rule breakers anyways. Maddie being one of them. Ugh. Habitually. She wouldn't be getting so much leeway if it weren't for Che. I don't understand that guy. He's nice. We chatted a bit. What makes him so special? I also wonder. He's provided services in the past. I can count on one hand the number of people who know as much about the manipulation of life force as he does. He's been researching it for over 100 years. Is that old? He looks like 60 max. Yep, much older than that. Wild. We're getting sidetracked though. How do you feel about joining the council? I don't hand out offers willy-nilly, no. Willy-nilly, you know. I'm interested, but can I start to think about it? How much time do you have? You've been out for nearly 25 hours. You're overdue. Hot. Okay. I assume you're not going to stick around forever. Unlikely. In the next few hours, or anything like I felt this morning, I'll stick around until you have a solid answer. Cool. Wanna get drunk? We're already drinking, mate. Nah, Jay told me about something pretty special he's got behind the bar. Unless it's something really special, he's probably offered me some. And even then, so you've tried the bottled soul? You're pulling my leg. Nope. You've got to be mistaken. You haven't seen it in person, have you? Yeah, actually I've seen it. That's quite legal. I expected better from it. But, so, drink it or not? So regulations require me to confiscate it or force the owner to dispose of it. We'd be doing a favor then. Come on, dude. Jay said it'd knock you flat. When you say you, do you mean me or you? Or just anyone who drinks it? Anyone. It's like 200% alcohol or something. That's not technically possible. But I'll admit, my interest is piqued. But let's not waste any time. Damn it. This was a setup, wasn't it? Basically. You in? Fine. This looks deadly. Good thing dead people can't get alcohol poisoning. Ayy! The bureaucracy. Oh, I love them. Ha. The bureaucracy. Ring ring. Yo. Your orders arrived. 3 days late, mate. It got held up by a mutual acquaintance of ours. Ah, shit. That'd explain why he's in my hair. I'll be there in half an hour. Oh. We're getting a package. It's pretty late at night. 8 o'clock. I wonder what the package is. I'm so curious. Catabasis is considered to be a vital part of the hero's narrative. Every hero goes to hell at some point, and in stories they usually come back, which is the bit that seems weird to me. I don't think that's how it works in real life. The cafe has a bunch of heroes come back though, claiming that they were going to conquer hell and come back. They never returned as far as I saw. The idea of a catabasis is that in the grand scheme of things, hell or the underworld or Hades, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's on the outside or wherever we are. Like we're trapped inside the sphere and we can leave it to go to hell. Did the ancient Greeks ever consider that maybe we've been on the outside the whole time, waiting to get in? Maybe they did. Matter of perspective. I guess I'll ask one sometime if I ever meet one. But perhaps they were just waiting our entire lives for this, to pass through the firmament to the next place. To be driftwood that washes up on the shores of whatever that next place actually is. It seems weird that maybe, but there's a but seems weird, but maybe that's where we're naturally meant to be. I'm thinking it's possible that this world isn't some sort of proving ground or anything. Maybe it's just a waiting room. A beautiful, flawed, complex waiting room. Personally, I don't think there's anything like heaven or hell waiting for us. No judgment either. The world doesn't ever operate in binaries or absolutes. It's just flawed human thinking projecting things that are much, much more complex than they can ever perceive. And I don't think what's waiting on the other side is something that we can even conceptualize. I bet it's cool. I agree, I bet it's cool. It's a shame that it's a one-way trip, though. Man, they just had to listen. We didn't hear Box Boy or Milk Boy. That's so rough. Alright, here we go, baby. Word games. We gotta try and get some that we don't have. What's a good one for Minor Demon? Neutral. Confiscate. License to Practice. Collingwood would be a good one for Melbourne. Knife might be Dias or 1,000 people. Let's try that. Come on. Let's get some good ones. Lore. The Terminal. Not too good. Lore. Melbourne. There we go. Lore. Crap. Death. We needed more death. And Ned. There we go. That's the one we wanted. Was Among Us, man. So now we have a pretty good array of items that we'll be able to use. It looks like we're locked outside of the building for now though, so Teen Transient. Before we do Teen Transient, are there any others out here? Or is that the only one? There is another one. Beth too. I don't have another magic though. Funeral? What is that one? We haven't gotten that one yet. I guess we'll just have to wait. Can't go over there. Ashley's Inventions. Okay, we can do this one. Let's check out Ashley's Inventions. Ashley's original ideas. Do not steal. Kitchen assistant. According to Maddie, the best way to chop hard ingredients like carrots or celery is to place the thing that you want are chopping near the point where the tip of the knife attaches the board, since this gives you more leverage. Pretty smart. I looked it up, and this is called a Class 2 lever, which gives you way more torque when cutting hard things. The mechanical advantage you get from a Class 2 lever can be increased by making the knife longer. This gave me the idea to make a knife that was 1 meter long. This would provide much greater mechanical advantage than the knives Maddie uses, which are only 10 centimeters or 18 centimeters long. Maddie says that I'm not allowed to use any knives that are longer than 18 millimeters and said something about weeb katana. So that idea is a dead end. I didn't know what she meant by that, so I looked it up online and found some videos of guys using really long blades to cut things like water bottles. Apparently the key to cutting force is force and speed. Since Maddie doesn't want to use blades longer than 18 centimeters, that means getting more force and leverage is out, but I can compensate for this by making the blades really fast. I created Kitchen Assistant version 1 that uses a shorter knife, but it's asphyxiated to a wheel that turns at 290 RPM even with the blade attached. The first time I turned it on, the blade wasn't completely secured, so it flew off and embedded in the ceiling. To make sure this wouldn't happen again, for version 2, I welded the blade to the flywheel so it wouldn't come off. This is just bad idea after bad idea. It sounds funny though. I think that Maddie would be really pleased with the result, because I only used a 10 centimeter blade, which is much smaller than the original blade size that she had a problem with. Smart. Also, when choosing which knife to wolf onto the flywheel, I picked the knife that Maddie says is the best one. I think your personal bias will cause her to like my invention more because I built it. Oh no! Knife retriever. Kitchen Assistant V2 was a big success, but the testing of Kitchen Assistant V1 left a knife embedded in the ceiling, and I wasn't able to reach the knife by climbing on top of my step ladder. I could probably reach it if I placed my step ladder on the countertop, but Maddie says that's dangerous, so I wanted to find a way to retrieve the knife without breaking that rule. I was thinking of making a giant magnet, but the electromagnets require a lot of power, and the last time I tried to draw a lot of power from the outlet, it tripped the breakers. If you try taping the circuit breakers in place so they don't trip, things catch on fire and it's a lot harder to fix, especially since hiding from that thing from Maddie requires so much effort. Yeah, that's fair. You know, fire is kind of hard to cover up. Replacing a breaker box is like doing 2 jobs at once, and that's 2 more jobs than I want to do on a Saturday afternoon. So a magnet is probably out, especially because I'm not sure if the knife is made out of ferromagnetic metal. I don't know what Maddie's knives are made of, but if they're made out of aluminum, the magnet won't work. You know, this kid is somehow simultaneously extremely smart and extremely fucking dumb, man. I might have to try the electromagnetic thing if I can't think of a plan before Maddie notices. She probably wouldn't like it. The good news is that the knife is firmly embedded in the wood, and the compressive force on the knife is enough to prevent it from falling down due to gravity, unless there is a loud vibration cause it to fall down. There's a very low probability that the knife falling down and hurting someone. The only thing that could disturb this is if it got humid and the wood around the knife started to warp, and the weather forecast that we're not getting any rain for the next few days, so I should have plenty of time to get the knife down before it's at a risk of falling. Just as long as Maddie doesn't look up when she's standing behind that part of the counter, everything will be fine. Visibility reducer. To prevent Maddie from looking up and seeing the knife on the ceiling, I created a device to dissuade her from looking up. If you put a really bright lamp somewhere, it makes people not want to look there. So I figured that the knife had a halogen lamp to it. Anytime Maddie thought of looking up at the ceiling, she would decide, no, I don't want to look there, because there's a bright lamp that will probably blind me. Why wouldn't you just get the knife then? I'll look down at the counter instead. Maybe she'll look up at the light, and she'll be disoriented from how bright it is. She won't see the knife on the ceiling. My LED headlamp only goes up to 50 lumens, and it takes 500 lumens to disorient a person. The problem was that I couldn't figure out how to affix the halogen lamp to the ceiling. That was the same problem I had with retrieving the knife. It's too high up. I only realized the simple solution. I get the halogen lamp up to the ceiling, but no. The halogen lamps aren't sharp enough to embed themselves in the wood, so I had to apply a layer of fast-drying adhesive covered by another layer of wood glue. I figured the fast-drying adhesive will hold them long enough for the wood glue to dry, and it will keep them there falling down so I can figure out how to get the knife down. My first attempt to use Kitchen Assistant to throw the halogen lamp at the ceiling did not go so well, until I go at the wrong time and instead flung the lamp at the wall. It took me almost 5 minutes to clean up all the big pieces. There were a lot of pieces that I didn't have time to pick up, but they were so small, probably didn't notice them. If Che notices, he'll probably clean them up without saying anything. The second attempt, I got Kitchen Assistant version 1 to throw at the ceiling, but its velocity was too high, and when the ball hit the ceiling, it shattered instead of sticking. I tried lower RPM, but after my 5th attempt, I realized I was out of halogen bulbs. I wonder if I can recycle the broken pieces for anything. Wow. Truly next level. And this looks to be Kitchen Assistant. Truly beautiful. Alright, let's read Teen the Transient. Let's go. A teenage boy approached the counter. You know what? Give me 2 secs. This is on the opposite side, so just for this one. We're just gonna do something super quick here. We're gonna go here, and we're just gonna really quickly go to our stream, and we're just gonna move it over just to make it so that we can actually see the game. One moment. Let's see here. Is there that not work? Config. It did work. It just doesn't wanna. Alright. 2 seconds here. We're just gonna quickly show my desktop real quick, because I just gotta, let's see here, scene. Here we are, and we're just gonna move me over. There we go. Alright. Now we can read without issue. Perfect. My plan was flawless. Alright. An order befitting of a kid. Yeah, I think we can manage that, said Maddie. Think fast, said Chai. Maddie turned around just in time to see an aluminum can hurtling toward her. She almost caught it. Almost caught it. And then she rolled back towards Chai, who scooped it off the floor. He hesitated a moment before setting it on the counter. No ice, huh? Said Chai. The boy nodded. No. Or, yeah. Yes to no ice. Shay cracked open the can and poured it into a waiting glass, which he then slid down the counter, pushing it gently enough that it came to a rest in front of the boy. The boy grabbed the glass. Thanks, he said. He glanced around the room. If you're looking for a place to sit, there should be plenty of seats upstairs. The boy nodded and headed for the stairs, drink in hand. Plenty of seats down here too, said Maddie, turning to Che. Yeah, but I think upstairs is more of Tuan's pace. What did you just call it? Tuan. People have names, you know. That's the problem with having regulars. People expect you to remember their names. Though now, I think about it, Tuan probably wouldn't mind finding out that you don't know his name. You can't have your name on Maddie's shit list if she doesn't know it. Should he be on my shit list? Said Maddie. Nah, he's harmless. Maybe a bit susceptible to peer pressure. But I think that's why he comes here. To meet with peers? To meet people who aren't his peers, Che says. How many glum teenagers do you see around here? Too many, said Maddie. Maybe not enough, said Che. Please tell me you don't actually mean that, said Maddie. Teenagers have the highest noise to spending ratio of any demographic. Not the glum ones. And if I were a glum teenager, trying to find my place in the world, trying to carve out my identity for myself, I can imagine a worse place than to do it right here. Teenagers can go be glum somewhere else, said Maddie. Whatever happened to your proper teenage delinquency? Be careful what you wish for, said Che. We've been merciful, delinquent-free for a while now. proper teen delinquents don't loiter in coffee shops, said Maddie. They set things on fire, spray paint alleyways, and stay out past curfew. Does the city have a curfew for minors? It should, said Maddie. Teens need to be able to break the rules, and all the better if committing acts of vandalism at 11 p.m. gives them a 2-for-1. Maybe they should just avoid delinquency and just stick to normal mischief, said Jack. Oh no, said Maddie. We already have plenty of mischief around here, ever since Ashley set up shop. Got it, said Jay. Next time I see Tuan, I'll tell him he needs to be committing more crimes. What do you do if he actually takes your advice? He won't, said Jay. Peer pressure only works if it's from a peer. Someone of my age telling him he'll be cool if he starts swiping liquor won't do much to assure him that becoming a thief is a ticket to popularity and acceptance. So find another teenager to tell him. I'll keep my eye out, said Jay. Well, we have the next part of the story to read, which I believe is part 3 or 4. But we will not be continuing today, because it is gonna be a while for this next part. And I'm pretty excited, so I want to leave it off right before we get there. And before we see where our boy will go. If he's going to become a council member or not. I'm pretty excited. I like that he's really buddy-buddy with our Among Us friend. And I kind of like his whole plot hook, where he's not like just completely in Maddie's fingertips. He's doing his own thing. Because, I mean, it's his life, he's dead, but, you know, he can do what he wants. And I'm excited to see what that entails. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and go check out the rest of the VODs. It really helps out when you do those two things, and it helps me get seen by more people. So, I hope you enjoy. Make sure to go check out the rest of the content, like I said, if you haven't seen it, and it's your first time. As always, I am Ren Bonka, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye!